Yo, peace, YouTube world, Zayla23 coming at y'all with another video, man. Y'all already know, gotta get this wisdom, gotta get this knowledge, gotta get this divine understanding, man. Wherever you are on this beautiful planet, man, I'm coming to y'all with a heart full of love, a heart full of peace, good health, positive vibrations. I'm just sprinkling all that wherever you are on this planet. Man, you know what? Go ahead and get another one. You know? So look, I'm coming at y'all with this new video, man. Why I practice culture. Why do I study culture? Why do I express culture? And what exactly is culture? You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead, let's get into it. You know, I got my Kush incense, so I feel like we about to dive deep right now. So let me go ahead and get the vibes proper, you know what I'm saying? Let's get that proper real quick. So, why I practice culture? Let's get into it. All right, y'all. So, first, when we understand history, right? So, we study Black history, we study human history, and when we study the history of the world and how the world's condition, present condition, has came to be, we then can move in a different way. We can then move so as not to make history repeat itself. We can now create a new history, right? We just live in this moment, right? But you're creating, like, I can remember yesterday. I can go in my memory bank and I can remember what happened yesterday, what I did yesterday, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like your future self is looking back at your past self with what you're doing in the present moment, with your present self. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so when it comes to history and we gain insight as to when we look at a particular people, right? When we look at African people, when we look at carbon people, we then gain the insight that when Africans were shipped over into the Western Hemisphere, now mind you, Africans were in the Americas before 1492. Christopher Columbus never set foot in America. Look that up. He first landed in the Bahamas and then he went over to Hispaniola. Hispaniola, right, is the Dominican Republic and Haiti, right? So Christopher Columbus has never set foot in America. You see what I'm saying? So when we understand that ones in Europe, they actually got permission to go and get African people out of Benin, Cameroon, Togo, Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Senegal, you know, all those ports and everything, right? To bring them over to the Western Hemisphere. We then understand that Africans already in the Western Hemisphere, they was already practicing a very deep and spiritual culture. You see what I'm saying? A very deep and spiritual culture. If you are so-called African American or you are so-called African raised in a white dominated country like the UK or America, and you travel to Africa or you travel to the Caribbean, you can then see how our psychology is totally different. The cultural psychology is totally different in the Caribbean and in Africa. When, like me, I went to St. Lucia in March for a week, right? I went to St. Lucia in March for a whole week. Man, when I tell you that is the most friendliest island I've ever been to, it's the most friendliest island. You see what I'm saying? So basically, what I'm saying is that Africans had their culture, but then as soon as we were brought into the Western world, Europeans then knew that to control us, they would have to take away our culture. Like for instance, majority, the largest population of African people, of black people outside of Africa is Brazil. Next to that is Nigeria. You see what I'm saying? So outside of the continent is Brazil. So majority of the Africans that were brought out of West Africa, they was actually brought into Brazil, right? The majority. The rest was brought into America and the Caribbean. Now, when they was brought over here, you understand that the culture, the language, their names, right? Their customs and things like that, all that was stripped from them gradually, because they know that if they can destroy your last name, like for instance, what's your last name? When you think about your last name, right? If you're an African American, right? Not an African from the continent, but if you're an African that was born in America, you know, and you're a descendant of African people, when you look at your last name, what's your last name? Right? You might have Anderson, Patterson, Brown, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. Those are European last names. And we understand that those names were put onto black people. Those names were put onto African people. You see what I'm saying? So to denote your African identity or your cultural identity, to alienate you from your rootical identity. So when we practice culture, the almighty creator, the I am that I am of this universe, right? That created the moon, the stars, the sun, the birds, the whales, the dolphins, the lions, the giraffes, the zebras, the entity, the higher intelligence, because it wasn't you that created these things. It wasn't you that created this human experience that you're in. You're in a human body. I'm in a human body. I'm communicating from my inner experience into your inner experience right now. Right? So I pray that you're receiving things that I figured out within inside of my human experience. And we have free will. The creator has created the human being to have free will. So when we understand that you can do whatever you want to do on this planet, but then you got to understand also that there's universal laws. So I can't just go rob a bank down the street and not think I'm not going to have any repercussions for it. You see what I'm saying? I can't go murder somebody and think that that ain't gonna be on my conscience. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying we need culture. Culture is a way of life. Culture is a set of guiding principles that harmonize you with yourself as well as the ones around you. Because that's why in Rastafari, the ones in Rastafari be like I, and I, because it's a unity. We're just in different bodies. You see what I'm saying? Whatever you experience in America, I'm experiencing the same thing in America, bro. We going through the same thing. You see what I'm saying? So when you understand that you need culture to govern yourself, meaning how you conduct yourself with male and female relationships, marriages, how you conduct your family. What are your holy days? What are your days that you give thanks and praise to the Creator? You know? How do you eat? What are your principles for eating? You see what I'm saying? Because you can do whatever you want to do in creation, but culture gives you certain guidelines, principles. You see what I'm saying? And when we go by those guidelines and principles, we would then achieve a higher peace. You see what I'm saying? A higher peace inside because you're walking righteously. So the culture is formed around the universal laws. The universal laws are God laws, right? So human can make marijuana and cannabis and things like that. They can make that illegal. But the creator of the universe, the I am that I am, the I am, the source, whatever you want to call it, Allah, Jah, Yah, Rastafari, whatever, the entity created cannabis. That is a God-made plant. And everything in creation has a purpose. And what did Bob Marley say? It's up to you to find its reason. What? Everything in creation has a purpose. It's up to you to find its reason. So when you study CBD oil, I'm trying to actually come up on some CBD oil and start selling it to y'all, man. Because CBD oil, man, I tried it, yo. It's amazing. So that's why I'm saying is that, like, when you embrace culture and you embrace a liberty, right? Whether it be Muslim, Islam, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be Yoruba, whether it be Akan, you know? Whether it be Rastafari, whether it be Hebrew Israelite, you know? Whether it be a Sikh, S-I-K-H. I think Indians and stuff like that practice that. Whether you become like a Buddhist, I mean, just some sort of culture, man, that forces you to go inner. Because all cultures go towards the Creator anyway. You see what I'm saying? There's not one way for salvation. There's not one way to reach towards the Creator. There's not just one way. There's not just one way. There's indigenous people in the bushes of the Amazon, right? Like Brazil. They're more in tune with nature than, you know, some of these Christians that's out here. And what is nature? The I am that I am. You know? Even in Papua New Guinea, the Kumbai tribe, they've never worn shoes before. Ever. They never wear shoes. Heavily in tune with nature. That's their culture. Knowing that you got someone who has a similar belief system, a same system of thought, and you can organize together. That's what you need. That's what our people need. Because being in America has truly wiped away a lot of our psychological righteousness and how we use our free will for right. When you take a trip to Africa, when you study Africans, right, that's on the continent, they're really, really passionate about family, togetherness, unity, things like that. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Africa ain't never had no problems, like we ain't got problems, but America, because of the traumas, the psychological traumas that African Americans have experienced, right? Whether it be through slavery, whether it be through them separating our families. You see what I'm saying? Not saying all African American families are not together, but a lot of them are not together. Single mothers raising children, fathers nowhere to be found, deadbeats, fathers leaving their sons trying to learn on the street what it means to be a man, or what it means to be masculine, or what it means about manhood, what is manhood, or the daughter looking for daddy saying, dang, well, you're supposed to be my first love on this planet. You're supposed to teach me how a man is supposed to treat me. I'm not getting love from my father, so I'm about to get love from other men then. You see what I'm saying? All of that has passed down from generation to generation to generation. That's why if you are a child of the light, if you're a child of the light and you have this higher information, you have this higher wisdom, it is up to you. Whether you might be the black sheep of your family. You probably the black sheep of your family. Like, your family like, man, why you eat all them plants for? Man, if you don't pass me that pork, you know what I'm saying? You know, why you juicing so much, man? Man, if you don't pass me that barbecue sauce, I'll put on my damn pork chop. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how our family think. Man, if you don't pass me that beef hamburger, man, and get out my face with that salad, man, I don't care about no cucumbers, tomatoes, lettuce. I don't care about that joint. Like, get that out my face, sea moss. I don't care about none of that. You know what I mean? I know y'all got family members that think like that. You know what I'm saying? But understand, like, when you read the holy books, right? Whether it be the Bible, the Quran, whether it be Buddhism, whether it be, what's that Indian holy book? I'm probably messing up the name, but Bhagavad Gita. You know, so y'all know what I'm talking about if y'all read different holy books. But in all of these books, I'm gonna just go with the Bible since everybody and their mama's mama and daddy know the Bible. So I'm gonna just go with that. So even with the Bible, right? When Christ, think about if Christ was just this regular human being. This Christ, right, achieved such a high consciousness that he had the Creator all up in him. He had the Spirit of God in him. He had the Holy Spirit within him, and he walked in this experience. He walked in this human experience and in this creation with a godly spirit. You see what I'm saying? Even like the book of Enoch, the brethren was so righteous, he didn't even die. He didn't even die. God was like, look, just come be with me. Just come be with me. You see what I'm saying? Imagine if Enoch or Christ was just like anybody else in creation. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. If it is you, and look, I'm getting real excited, so I can't even get my words out, y'all. But look, if it is you who is now spiritual, if it is you that brings the insight, that eats the plant foods, that grows your own foods, that reads spiritual and holy texts, that you have a close relationship with the Creator, with the I Am. You have a deep intuition and you love your history. I'm telling you, you are the one that's going to change it. And that's why you should practice culture. The more that you learn, it's like, okay, I need to be in a culture because African Americans have been alienated from their culture. You're picking up the colonizers' ways. And the same thing like Marcus Garvey said, if you don't be careful, you're going to drink the poisons of the Western world and die from it. I'm paraphrasing. He probably wrote it completely different. But if y'all read the quote, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Peace. You know, Marcus Mosaic Garvey, you know, the honorable and holy one, you know. You are going to die from the poisons of Western civilizations if you're not careful. You see what I'm saying? Africa is the spirituality. Africa is the culture. Africa is the righteousness. America is Babylon the Great. America has blood all over it. It has sweat all over it. My ancestors is all over this soil. All over this soil. And what do you give us? Welfare, food stamps. Maybe I sign you on to my NBA team. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll put you on my TV show. But nah, if you do Black Wall Street, I'ma bomb the shit out of it, though. Nah, like, do your thing, but not like that. Basically. And that's why it is up to you. It is up to you. Milk America. Use America for what it's for. It's currency. It's just good for its money, even though it's filthy money. It's filthy money. But utilize it. Invest it. Teach your children about investment. You see what I'm saying? Create generational wealth. Generational wealth. Invest in Africa. Invest in America. Do both. Invest in the Caribbean. Wherever African people are, invest there. Build there. But remember, it first starts in the household, man. Get back to traditional marriages. Traditional marriages. Family. I totally understand that African people have been through a lot. 200-300 years of servitude. Put on ships. Brought over here to the West. Our family structures really watered down. I won't say destroyed because we're still together, but we're not together as strong as we should be. Claim your culture. Create a family around that culture. Teach your children the culture. And make sure you study your history. Study your history and know yourself. Just because they don't teach it in the school system doesn't mean that you shouldn't be studying. The World Wide Web is available to you. This is the age of information, Aquarius, which is my sign. You know, I'm a very deep thinker. I'm a thinker. You know what I'm saying? Maybe sometimes to my own detriment. You know, but you know, it's about balance, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, get deep, but then also make sure that you bring yourself back. Bring yourself back to this moment. But use your time wisely on this planet. Use your time wisely. The righteous will always have a good memory. The righteous will always remember the righteous. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Mansa Musa. Do something powerful. Remember your culture. That's your guidance. That's your spiritual guidance. The culture keeps you aligned with the spiritual creator. Study your culture, African culture. Culture is organization. We need organization. That's the main thing African people is messed up on. We are messed up on organization. We are so crab in the barrel mentality. Especially ones that have been dominated by Europeans, because the Europeans done put that or threw that in our psychology. So learn yourself, love yourself, study your culture, grow your culture. And family, remember, if y'all want to listen to some more of my team, you know, like I said, I got books. I've written books. You know what I'm saying? Take advantage. I've written books. You know what I'm saying? I got 2 books on my website, www.mynaturalroots.org. Study your culture, man. Study your culture. Study your history. Love on yourself, man. Love on yourself. I love y'all. Uplift our condition. It's only going to be through you. But know that no matter what your parents taught you, no matter if you're the black sheep and you're the only one that's eating all these plants and stuff like that in your family, know that you've been tapped by the I am that I am on the shoulder. You've been tapped on the shoulder. Answer to that call. Many are called, few are chosen. So rise up, chosen one. Because not a lot of people got your information or your insight. Utilize it and change the world. So I love y'all, man. Remember, if y'all got anything out of this video, man, go ahead and like it for me. Go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, man. And just leave a comment below. You know, maybe say, what culture do you practice? You know, what histories have you been studying or researching? Or is there some black history that you've come across? It was like, whoa, a lot of people don't know about that. You know, let's just reason down there in the comment box, man. I really appreciate y'all. I just wanted to get this on my chest, man. Study your culture. Gotta get this wisdom. Gotta get this knowledge. Gotta get this divine understanding, man. Practice your culture, man. Practice a culture. Practice your culture. You see what I'm saying? That's our organization. Heal ourselves. Heal ourselves. No nation of people is going to reach into our brains and heal those things that we need to heal. It's only we ourselves. Bob Marley, it's only we ourselves that can free our minds. No one can go inside of our brain and free it for us. Walk in righteousness and truth, and your thoughts will be established. Righteousness and purity. Mean no harm, but take no shit. You get my drift. You get my drift. So, yo, one perfect love, man. I love y'all. I come with peace. I come with a sword as well. You sight? Practice your culture. One perfect love.